From an undisclosed location high in the Hollywood Hills, it's time once again for the long shot. Come hail or hail to tonight's episode. It's not a slippery slope, it's a greased flat wall. And now please welcome the host of the long shot, Sean Conroy. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good day, good noon, good dawn, good twilight. Not
the book series,
the vampire series. Good dusk, which is the same thing as twilight. Good desk. Welcome to The Long Shot. It is a podcast. I am your host. My name is Sean Conroy. With me today on the show is not the great Joe Wagner, also not the great Jamie Flam, but you know who is here? Old, reliable Amber Kenny is here.
That's me.
Yeah. It is the Thursday of the week after the 4th of July. That's when we're recording this. It's not when this will come out. This will come out next week. Just to give you guys an update on our release schedule, that we don't do it the same day that we record. Amber, I guess I should start by saying, did you go to that party we talked about?
I did not. I did not. But you did.
Well, that's debatable because I did.
Did you pivot step?
Basically, yes. I'm not even kidding. That's basically what I did. I walked in. I saw the one person I knew there whose party it was.
Yeah. Who clearly can't spend the whole time with you.
No, of course. Nor would I expect that more than once or twice a year, you know. And that person was was like in the middle of like letting some people out and blah, blah, whatever. So I walked in, I went over to the pool. I didn't see anybody I knew in the pool or around the pool. I sat down for a few minutes and then I was like, I'm out.
I'm good. I'm
out. I was there maybe 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And I turned around and left.
Not even opening up a beverage.
No. I think, well, I haven't had alcohol in quite a while now. I think in the old days, that's probably what would have
kept you,
made it okay, was like, I'm going to go to the cooler and grab a beer and then another and, wait for something to unfold. But I just didn't, and I didn't feel bad. I was like, I don't feel like going through introductions with people I don't know and trying to figure out. And honestly, and I guess this is, it's probably not completely true, but I think to a certain extent it definitely was. And B, it's not a problem. It just was, everybody there was 20 years younger than I am, And so I was like, I don't know. It was just, I didn't feel bad about not sticking around and like meeting new people for the first time and then never seeing them again.
Right.
Or
so what do you do?
Yeah. Like I was just like, okay, this is, and there's a great Mexican restaurant over there where I went and got some food to take home with me, so it was worth getting out of the house just for that, Well,
and you did it. Like you
I did it. Yeah, I didn't just sit in my house
and go like, oh, I could have been fun. Right.
Well, that's the other thing is like, I mean, we keep talking about this every week, and I apologize, but I feel it. Obviously, things are weird right now, but I feel so disconnected from the world still. Like, I don't see people for the most part. I don't. when I go out, it's to go to the supermarket or to go to the coffee shop to get something and get out, not to like hang out somewhere and communicate with people or spend time with people. So, I feel like, I don't know what, like the man in the high castle, like I that's probably a bad analogy because that would make me a Nazi, but
just a hermit of some kind.
If that title had not been used by a show about an alternate reality in which the Nazis won, you know what I mean? The Fortress of Solitude.
The Grinch.
Yes.
Which I guess is also has a negative connotation. But I mean, like someone like away from society who
but without being able to see all the Who's down in Whoville. Like that was one of the Grinch's problems, was that he saw everybody else having a good time. Yeah. And it did all sorts of terrible things to his heart. Which
it got big, it got small.
Enlarged.
Not good for you.
Yeah. But I'm just here and like, I don't know. It's a weird, and that's not even completely true because it's mostly true. But like, I finally, went yesterday and saw F9 again without being interrupted by the.
Did you go with your friend that
different friend?
Oh,
yes, the one who I was supposed to have gone with in the first place.
Right. That's who you did go with.
Yeah, that's who I did go with.
Okay.
Yes,
that's so you're not like double cheating on
No. So it was not a betrayal, know. So yeah, this was the thing I should have done in the first place so that the universe did not frown on me and go, how dare you, fire alarm locked in the alley.
That is what happened.
The universe is it's very focused on me, Sure. That's how important I am, is that everything orbits around me. So that was good. It was like I went up. He lives up in the valley, so we went to Sherman Oaks, which
nice big parking lots. You don't have to do the
big the Galleria thing. And there was nobody there. That was actually disconcerting. Like, I had been to the Sherman Oaks movie theater once before. I saw whatever that terrible Prometheus. That's what I saw there. And I was very excited for it and was very disappointed by it. But I kind of forgot what the setup was or how to get anywhere. And so it's this weird thing where you park in the garage and then you have to walk like 11 miles to get to the movie theater. Like it's so far from, and it was like abandoned. It was like a post-apocalyptic zombie movie. Like I was waiting for us to be me. I was waiting for me because I was by myself. It's not like we showed up. Although actually he was walking out of the garage when I was driving in, but I beeped a bunch of times. And of course he completely, he thought I was a zombie going to attack him. So he completely ignored me and when I ran to the gun shop. And
the only Sherman Oaks movie theater that I could think of is the one in a shopping center but it was an ArcLight, and I don't think ArcLights exist anymore.
This is an ArcLight.
Oh.
Yeah. I think only the Hollywood ArcLight shut down.
Interesting. For some reason, I'm not positive about that. Like the whole chain.
I'm pretty sure. Well, at least this one said ArcLight, and it was. Although I will say, they did not have somebody come out and introduce the movie at the beginning.
Then it's not an ArcLight.
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe it's Arc with like a K instead of a C or something. But
Noah's ArcLight.
Right. But yeah, so I know exactly the movie theater that you're talking about. And yes, it's one of those where when I lived in the Valley, that's where we would go a lot. And you're like, oh, the movie's in 10 minutes. Like,
right.
But we're there, but you're not there.
It's not even close. Because not only do you have to like walk through this whole plaza and past all these
California
places.
Pizza Kitchen.
Yes, exactly. It's every place is a California Pizza Kitchen. That's exactly right. Like, why are there's 11 California, apparently 11 is my number of the day. There's like 11 California Pizza Kitchens. Anyway, then you get into the actual.
You have to go up an escalator.
2 escalators.
Past a shoe store. Yes. I know this place.
And then by then I had hooked up with my friend, not hooked up, like we didn't hook up, but you know what I mean? We hooked
whatever,
up.
no shame in the game.
That's absolutely true. But so he was telling me like, I guess that was the mall. I didn't know this. Why would I know this? That was the mall where they shot Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh.
Before it was the version of the mall it is now. Like Fast Times was an indoor mall, like a classic
right.
80s mall. And this
so
is
they just knocked down the walls?
Yeah, I guess.
I don't understand.
Although it still has an indoor element to it. Like I think, but anyway, it was just cool to be like, Fast Times, man. Yeah, Spicoli. And but we walk into Noah's Ark Light and there is a knot of people who work there all together. Like there's like 6 people in various uniforms. Some of them were clearly concessionaires, some of them were managers, some of them were ticket takers. And I think probably because there are not enough customers coming in, they just swarmed us immediately and all had questions about what we were doing and what we needed and what we were, where were our tickets.
Away from me.
And of course, how
was it a matinee?
No, it was like 7:30 last night, I think.
Whoa.
Yeah, and there was just nobody there. Yeah. But they were like, "Hi, do you need tickets? Are you buying snacks? What are you doing here? I'm the manager. Do you like movies? Have you ever met Noah? This is Noah." Like it was just like an overwhelming. And of course he had sent me I don't even understand how this shit works now, but he sent me the ticket, which was a link that I had to click on to then get the barcode. They could scan the barcode.
Assigned seating. So,
so it was this whole thing where the guy was like,
"You were the only ones there, so it just let us in the dang theater."
Right. But which you would think it would be that, but it was actually the opposite, where they were way stricter than the guy was like, "Do you have your tickets?" And so I just showed him the email on my phone, and he was like, "No, that's not it." And I was like, "Okay, do I just press this?" And he's like, "There's a barcode. There's a barcode. There should be a barcode." And I was like it just was so. It was abnormal. Like everybody's not normal,
Right.
And then we went to get drinks and snacks at the counter, and it was the same thing. There was like 7 people behind the counter,
all helping you at the same time,
all not helping us at the same time. Like for some reason it took way longer than it would have if there was just one person, because it was like one person was taking the order and then somebody else was going to go get the thing, and then the other
they
thing,
had to come back to make sure
they weren't sure what size it was. And like, wait, are you saying a small Diet Pepsi, or what did they say? So it just, I was like, this is insane. This is crazy.
You get a small Diet Pepsi?
First of all, I think I did. And second of all, you should know that at Noah's Ark Light, the small Diet Pepsi. Oh, it is Pepsi, but I was going to say a small Diet Pepsi is 32 ounces. So
you might as well get a small.
I tried to struggle through the whole movie without getting popcorn, and I just couldn't do it. So I went back in the middle and I said to my friend, I was like, "Do you want some popcorn?" And he was like, "I'll just share." And I was like, No, you won't. I will get 2. So I went back over there. And I was like, "Hi, can I get 2 medium popcorns?" And again, there was like 3 people behind the thing, and the manager was standing right next to me, and he goes, "Hey, do you want to just get a large and save yourself some money?"
No.
Well, at first I was like, "No, why would I want to do that?" But it was like $9 cheaper to get one large popcorn, which had more popcorn than 2 medium popcorns. And you could just get
another tray or something to split,
which I didn't do. So I let my principles go out the window to save $9. But again, it was like this is in the middle of the movie. And it was a long conversation about how much money I was going to save, and this was better. And I was like, and it was more popcorn. That was an important part of it. Like you would get more. And I was like, hold on. So I pay way less money and I get more popcorn. I don't understand that.
Are you in an infomercial?
And the guy, hold on. but he didn't, he had no explanation. He was just like, yeah. Like, I was trying to get to the heart of it. Like, that makes no sense economically, right. But he did not wish to entertain the supply and demand production possibilities curve.
There has to be some reason, like scientifically, when people order large popcorns, they then order more drinks, or like there has to be some like metric of why they encourage that.
I'm sure you're right, but they also were like, we don't do refills on small. We only So if I had gotten a 64 ounce, which I think was the medium, I think the medium was 135 ounces and the large was a swimming pool. But if I had gotten like a bigger soda, I could have had free refills. But since I only got the 32 ounce soda,
that's all you got.
No free refills. And I was like, I'm okay with that. With that.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was a crazy amount of negotiations about things that didn't make sense to me.
Did you just we're dangerously close to like Jamie food topic, but I'm curious because I haven't been to a movie theater in so long. So you got the soda and you got the popcorn later, but was that the whole kit and caboodle?
Well, the first time we went up, I got a water. I was like, I'm just going to have a water. And then I was falling asleep during the movie. So I was like, I need some.
God, a ringing endorsement.
It definitely was not the movie's fault. It definitely was not the movie's fault. So I was like, I just need some caffeine to keep me going. But yeah, it was, and for a while when we got there, the two of us are sitting like right in the front row. No. That's what I said. No, it was like the front section. And then we were in the first row of the second section.
That's primo.
Yeah. It's the best seat. And I was saying to my friend, I was like, because it was an ArcLight, but it was a much smaller screen than the other place we had been. And the speakers were still really loud, but not even close to what it had been in the other theater. And he was like, do you think this is too close? And I was like, no, because you should know that the first time I saw this, I was sitting, like I could only see their eyes moving. Like I could not see.
You didn't know which character
the actual action. But so we were just by ourselves for like 10 minutes and we were like, we're going to get the whole theater to ourselves. It's going to be great. And then of course, about 7 more people came in after the previews started. Which that's a whole other thing. And again, I think I talked about this last time. I get it.
All the super.
Yeah, but it's just like every movie is like either a superhero or a video game that's been made into a movie or a movie that's been made into a video game that got turned into a book that then got optioned and turned into a movie or
board game.
Yeah. Where's the sad small story of a Midwestern family that can't get a well to work on their farm?
I mean, they're making them. They're just not going to advertise them on Fast 9.
I guess. I guess that means I should go see another movie to see if my theory holds up that all movies are superhero movies now.
Right.
But it was F9, man. Can't beat it. It is what it is. It is what it is. Like, I think that's the kind of review you have to give to that movie. Like, what it is when you're walking in,
and they deliver.
And it is that, and that's it. Like, I found it. I said to my friend afterwards, I was like, I found it really confusing a lot of the time because I did not understand why things were happening or why they ended up where they were. But I always realize when I'm watching those movies that it
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. And they know it doesn't matter. And so they don't explain it. Like they just don't, they just skip that part,
just like an excuse to get onto the next action sequence.
And it's funny because they do have parts where they explain a ton of stuff. Like there's one, I don't want to spoil anything for all our listeners who are big F9 fans who haven't gone out and seen it yet. But like, there's a big revelation in the middle of the movie, and somebody goes, hold on.
And just
Hold
repeats
on.
it all again.
How did this happen? How did this come true? And somebody goes, well, and it's like a 10-minute monologue of like recapping stuff that happened that you never saw, that wasn't in any of the movies, to explain how this thing is true. So it's not like they don't feel like some things have to be explained. It's just like, why are they in a truck right now? Well, because it's Fast and the Furious and they drive a lot, you know?
Right.
Like the whole climax of the movie, the bad guys are in a moving triple-decker truck. I don't know if that's the right term, but it's like, imagine the trailer of 3 18-wheelers attached to each other, traveling at 90 miles an hour through the streets of a city in Tbilisi. That's my other favorite thing, is that I love how in every movie it's always like some obscure Russian former Soviet Union republic. Like those are the only places that you can make be the bad guys anymore.
Right.
So they're in Tbilisi somewhere driving through the streets. And I was like, wait, why are they? Because what they were doing had nothing to do with being in motion. Yeah. Right. They were like coordinating stuff on
like they could have been underground in a bunker.
They should have been. They would have been safer underground in a bunker. They would not have been so exposed to the Fast and the Furious people catching up to them.
Right. And or at least be in a Subaru or something that blends in.
Right. Instead of a giant. But, you know, if that was the case, if they were underground, it would have been not Fast and Furious. It would have been like, you know, buried and obscure. Buried and obscure 9. They have a device that is like the thing that everybody wants in the movie. And it's just so funny to me. Like I love, well, there's so many things about it that are so funny, but like in this case, they literally described it at one point. Somebody goes, this is a thing that shouldn't even exist for another 50 years. Like that's how advanced it was. And they call it, like at one point it rolls away or something, like somebody drops it or something like that. And somebody else goes, hey, the device. Like they just call it the device. That's the only name for it in the whole movie. That's all it's ever called, is the device. It's really, and then my other thing about the movies is that I think we talked about this last time I talked about it, but the first one I ever saw was the 5th in the franchise, which is where they rob a bank in Rio de Janeiro by stealing the actual vault, like the safe that all the cash is in. They,
like,
I guess,
pull it out of the wall.
I think it's in the police station, if I remember correctly. And they attach chains to it and have 2 cars like drive really, you know, and hook up to the chains and drive out. And so then there's a chase through the streets of Rio de Janeiro with this gigantic metal safe attached to the back of 2 cars. And all these things happen that are completely unrelated to physics and gravity and inertia and Newton's laws of motion. And, you know, and I was like, oh, they made up their own version of reality and they can do whatever they want. And that's always been my thing about those movies, is that physics does not exist. They're completely. And in this movie, at one point, one of the characters says they're, well, I won't even say what they're doing because it's sort of one of the highlights of the movie. But one of the characters goes, I'm telling you, it'll work, man. As long as we obey the laws of physics, this is going to work.
Too late.
And I just thought it was so funny that, like, that's a thing that has stuck in my head since the beginning. And clearly I'm not the only one, because they felt like they had to
address it
somehow.
But it's also funny to even say it that way. I mean, might be what you're talking about, but it's funny to say it that way, as though it's optional to opt in or out of the laws of physics. Like we're not like trying to obey the laws of physics. Are just operating around us.
Yeah.
Like-
And you know, to be fair to them, maybe I'm misquoting and that's not what they said. It was more like, no, it's because of physics that this is going to work. And I just like translated it in my head to my own version because they have their own version of what physics is. But yeah, you're right. It's like, it just was so funny that they were like, this is going to work because of physics. And I'm like, what physics science. Are you talking about? Like, you don't have physics. Like, they don't exist there. So anyway, 2 thumbs up, 5 stars. Go see F9. Great. I assume Universal is doing well because the movie has done well.
Hope so.
I actually don't know that. I don't know that. But I mean, it certainly wasn't doing well last night since there was only 9 of us in the theater, but I think it did okay at the box office. So we always like to start the show with a segment that we call What is the latest Fast and Furious movie? Who saw it and what did they think? We already
did that segment.
So we did that segment. So let's get to checking in. Amber, let's start with you.
Yes. I'll do a quick 4th of July recap just because we mentioned last time.
Independence Day.
Yes.
Patriotism.
We ended up not going to a pool party at all.
I was there. You did not miss me, at least, because I was barely there at all.
Well, that was part of...
That's why you didn't go, because you knew I was going?
Yes. Yes, that's what I was going to say. No, but that was part of like the cost benefit analysis that we did, is that we knew it would be a little bit stressful to be at a party with a ton of people and a pool and smudgy, especially for the first time. And we have also been to that party before and knew that we would know a very small percentage of the people. So it's like, it'd be one thing if we knew we were going to a party that like we were definitely going to have a good time and definitely see people that we've missed for a long time. And we would have, but I'm talking percentage of.
I get it. Population. I'm not offended. I get it.
So it just seemed like, I don't know if we want to go through all of that. For that,
you ran the numbers.
Yeah, and we're like, let's not do it. And so we spent the day just trying to tucker Smudgy out, like with a tennis ball outside. Just like I wanted him as tired as possible, and we gave him some doggy CBD because fireworks. They were making my windows rattle. It felt like people were setting them off next.
Did you see any of the footage that they took? I don't know if it was drone footage or helicopter footage of just like, or maybe it was even somebody just flying into LAX of Los Angeles as they were like from above. It's crazy.
Well, I will say last year was way more insane than this year.
Well, last year, if you remember, they were saying this is psychological warfare by the police.
I kind of believe it. But also, I think more people were just out of town this 4th of July. Like, I went for a walk in the morning on 4th of July, and there was a quietness in the town, in the neighborhood, that I feel like I haven't felt in a long time, because it's the first, like, real, true, long holiday weekend that people feel comfortable traveling. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, that makes sense.
And I feel like last time there was so much fireworks because people were stuck at home and had nothing else to do. So people are like, oh, we could just go do stuff. So we don't have to set up fireworks for 3 months straight.
But it was still crazy on the 4th, like the night of the 4th. Like I said, if you can find any of those videos, or I guess I only saw one. So if you can find that one video,
just forget it.
It looks crazy. It looks like it's like, oh my God, like thousands of fireworks going off all over the whole metropolitan area. You know? Totally.
But 4th of July is also Jeff's favorite holiday. And so I wanted to do something. It felt depressing to do nothing.
Right.
So our friend Lampy invited us over to come watch a movie at her apartment. And so we were like, great. Yes, we will do that. Like that, the cost benefit analysis adds up.
We ran the numbers.
I will know 100% of the people in this apartment.
You guys are basically hardcore venture capitalists about life experience.
Oh yeah. Oh, big time.
Let's go. Let's watch the movie. Let's strip the experience for parts and let's sell it off on the market. Let's see what we can get.
And so we did that. Smudgy went to his first party. It wasn't a huge party. I think there was 5 of us and another dog. And we all survived. It was great.
What movie?
You watched Fame. The old original Fame. You know, very 4th of July.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 4th of July is all about fame. That's how this country got famous.
And yeah, it was nice, but nothing too big to report. I just wanted to let you all in and what my plans actually ended up shaking out to be.
No, I think that's, you did something.
Right. But my true checking in that I wanted to talk about. So I'm still maintaining my like quiet mornings, with some wiggle room sometimes, and the morning
not easy is what I have found.
Sort of social media TV detox mornings. And again, some exceptions. It's old habits die hard.
So anyway, so you've been trying to
have my like social media detox.
Not morning. Easy, by the way, not easy.
Thank you. I honestly, I don't know how, because I actually was waiting for you to say something like that, and I was like, oh, I mean,
well, because you said still giving myself some wiggle room, and I was kind of agreeing with that because it is not easy. Like I will wake up in the morning and go, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to check anything, whatever, except there's one email that I'm expecting or that I want to hear back from or whatever. So it's very difficult.
Slippery slope. It's very hard to only read one email. Like
it's not even a slippery slope. It's like a greased flat wall that you slide down,
There's a documentary on HBO Max. I think it might be on regular HBO too. I forget what it's called.
Is it the social media documentary?
No, it's about a water park in New Jersey.
Oh yeah,
that like a lot of people got injured and killed at.
First of all, yes, I know that documentary. I just watched the first 10 minutes last night, but coincidentally, just because I was like looking for something to watch. And I went there when I was, I think for my maybe my 19th birthday, I went with my friend and 2 of his friends, and it was crazy. It was insane.
It's a good documentary. It gets dark towards the end because we're dealing with actual real
death.
But at first it's just some crazy guy who would literally talk about like defying the law of physics. Like he would just like draw a squiggly and then be like, make this. and then he'd make the employees test it out and they would like fly across the road and stuff. Anyway, when you said it's not a slippery slope, I was picturing one of those water slides.
It's the one that goes upside down.
Yes.
No, I mean, I went with my friend and 2 of his friends, and we spent the day there, and it was going to be so fun. And it was fun, but like, we were like, oh, we'll hang out all day. We're underage, but we'll be able to get alcohol at the end of the day. We'll go to
constantly saying we are underage.
yeah. No, but it was like we were going to end the day by going to the beer tent and like drinking and whatever, because it was my birthday. Like I was turning 19 or something, or 20 maybe. And so we went, and we were so beaten by the end of the day, just physically destroyed by everything we did, that we were like, let's just go home. It was like 45 minutes to drive home. And of course, I was driving, and those guys, we got in the car, all 3 of them immediately passed out.
Aww.
So I was just driving home in the middle of the night.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, exactly. And then the worst part about it was, as you know, when you like pull a muscle or something like that, it's way worse in the time after that. So I couldn't walk for like 3 days after that because I was so physically overwhelmed by everything we had done. But anyway, sorry. So yeah, It is a slippery slope, no
Yeah.
doubt.
But yeah, so my intention is to maintain that, and I am for the most part, again, with some wiggle room.
Mhm.
And I'm doing the morning pages of writing and meditation. And another thing that I've included in it, I'm nervous to talk about it because I feel like you're going to make fun of me so hard.
I
But
would
it is what
never
it is.
do that. I would
And it
never,
is me
ever
checking
do that.
in. It really truly is I've had this book since I want to say my early 20s.
Mhm.
It's Deepak Chopra's The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success.
I knew there was going to be a number in there. I was going to say, is it the 4 something or the 5 whatevers? But it's the 7. Yeah.
Yeah, it's this lucky number 7. And so I was like, why not? Like, can't hurt
Mhm.
at this point. So I've been like in the morning. At first, I was like reading one law a day and trying to incorporate it. And, I blew through them real fast. There's only 7. So now
That can't be a whole book if there's only 7 laws.
I mean, there's like whole chapters.
Yeah.
But at the end of each chapter, it's sort of like bullet points, like actionable advice to apply that law.
Is the first one always obey the law?
It's never talk about the laws on a podcast.
Rule number 2, see rule number 1.
So I meditate and I read those actionable items, and I just like think about, again, it can't hurt.
It certainly can't.
So one of the laws, it's I think like the law of desire. I should know these because I've been reading them every single day. But one of the actionable items under that law is to write down a list of all of your desires. All of them that you could think of, and keep that list on you at all times. And you look at it right before you go to sleep, and you look at it right when you wake up, and you look at it right before you meditate. And it's just so it's like planting the seed, and then you sort of let it go. It's not like you're obsessing about it. It's just it's just always with you. So I was doing that, and I had a little piece of paper, and I had 2 desires, and I'm not going to tell them to you because that's one of the other laws, is you have to kind of protect them and not share them with people. It's like
number
planting a seed.
2, keep this to myself.
No, but he describes it as you planting a seed, and you don't want to dig it up. You want to like plant it. And
yeah, it's a different thing, but it's the same thing with any kind of writing stuff you're doing. As soon as you start talking about it to somebody, it just like fucks it all up. Yeah.
Working on it. Well, I read somewhere or heard on a podcast, who knows, that so like the chemical that's released in your brain when you accomplish something, that same chemical is released when you tell someone about something you're excited about doing.
Mm-hmm.
So your brain's like,
did it.
I did it. Mm-hmm. But it's tough because you also want to be held accountable. So I don't know. It's a fine line. I'm sure
life is complicated, as it turns out. The human brain is tough to put your finger on.
Right. So I've had this list of my 2 desires on
not the brain itself, but like the human psyche is hard to pin down.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The brain's kind of easy to find.
Just go in through the ear.
Ugh. So I have this list with my 2 big desires currently, and it's on a little piece.
Carrying it around.
And I fold it up and I carry it around with me everywhere I go. And on Saturday,
see the movie Fame.
I was doing laundry, and I shouted. I had washed and dried my deepest dreams and desires, and I was like, "Ooh, that's not a great sign." That it feels bad symbolically, but I was proud of myself for I didn't freak out. Like I was just like, okay, that was that trial run, and let's do it again. So the next day, I wrote out my dreams and desires again, and then I
Same ones or different?
I think same ones. I'm not sure about if they're word perfect the same because that one got pretty.
Well, I never use Word Perfect anymore. I use Microsoft Word.
Oh wow, look at you. So this time I also, because even just the 1 week I was doing this and folding and unfolding and in my pocket, I was like, this is going to disintegrate.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I know, I'm going to protect my dreams and desires. So I got, we have some like packing tape, and I did like a crude lamination.
You almost laminated it. Yeah.
Yeah, I did like a crude lamination of my dreams and desires. But now it's also, it's the same size piece of paper, but it's because it's laminated, it's a much more substantial thing in my pocket. And Smudgy is he's got like a terrier in him. He likes foraging. He likes looking in my pockets. So he has become and because it's not just a piece of paper, it seems more like a toy. He's become obsessed with it. And it is not, I have noticed, it hasn't gone over my head, the symbolic nature that Smudgy is trying to kill my dreams.
You gotta show him that the laminated desires and dreams is a leash.
But I still got him.
Show him it's a leash.
Still got him. This isn't the side with them on, but I got him. They're on me at all times.
Zoom in.
But yeah.
God damn it, Smudgy.
And I was trying not to have a checking in involving him. It was just too good of a poetic arc. And
I also am. So when you don't have a washer and dryer in your apartment, do you?
I do.
In your unit? Yes. Oh, that's great.
Game changer. That's moving here. There was a hookup. So that was one of the first things we did was buy a washer and dryer. I think with our stimulus money.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good for the economy.
Game changer. We were going to the laundromat.
Yeah.
And there was a shortage of quarters. It was just and especially during the holidays when it was the height of COVID here in LA, where it's just don't be around anyone, but stand in this room waiting for your clothes to dry. It was anyway.
Well, because when you said that the thing was in the laundry, I pictured you in a laundromat and I had a whole scenario in my head where you open the dryer or you open the dryer and you're like, oh no, I put the things in there, and then you close the dryer door and there's an old woman standing there with a patch on one eye, and she's like, you have gotten rid of your dreams and desires. You must give me some gold pieces and I will, there was just a whole thing going on in my head. And now that goes away because you have an in-unit washer and dryer.
Well, I think if I was at a laundromat, it actually wouldn't have happened because there's a level of casualness where I was like, hey, I might as well put a load in. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to throw in the shorts I was wearing yesterday. And I'm not going through all the it's very...
There's no precautions.
Yes.
Worst thing that happens is whatever's in there is still in there. Nobody, oh my God, what did I do?
Right. I did. So all of my dreams and desires were in tatters in the lint trap. And I quickly grabbed them and put them in my pocket.
You can send that, you could send that to FBI headquarters in Washington and they will put that back together. They'll find a way.
Enhance. But yeah, I am proud of myself about how I'm handling this twofold. I'm proud of myself for staying committed to it because this is something in the past that I easily would have been like, I'm going to do that. And 45 minutes later, it was like, it's too hard.
Yeah.
And then, and that I've kind of taken it easy on myself because also like if I do not have it on me for 1 second, it's not like it's like what we were talking about before about like the magical thinking of like if I don't do exactly 3 pages, I'm
Right.
doing it wrong. Like it's the intention. And if it isn't in my pocket for 45 minutes, that's fine. It's
Right.
it's not I'm not gonna ruin the point of what I'm doing. And the fact that I washed and dried it, not the greatest, but guess what? It's also proven to me that I still want those dreams and desires, and a little obstacle isn't going to get in my way. And
and it proves that your lint filter works well. Like there's so many good things that came out of this.
it was just like a, are you kidding me?
Yeah, no, I've been there a million times at least.
Washing your
11 times. I've been there 11 times. Today's show is sponsored by the number 11 and the letter P. Now I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have a lot of questions, but one of them is, do you read your laws of physics first and then write in your journal? And is it impacted by what you read about? And are you writing about stuff you read?
Great question. I've been mixing it up a little bit, but normally this is the routine that I've sort of landed on. I journal kind of like to purge what is and what was before I put anything in. Then I meditate. And then I read my laws.
Got it.
But sometimes the laws do have like a prompt. And then I'll just add that to the end of, I'll go back to my journal. As like
I like it. Yeah. And so one of the things on your list of dreams and desires is not
to get a washer and dryer.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like, this is not really a question. It was more of a statement. Also, it's funny. This is kind of off topic, but you said enhance before, and I just rewatched both seasons of Barry, which is such a fucking great show.
So good.
And there's just a really funny moment in that where, you know, they're trying to solve this murder and they have this photo. If you remember, there's like there's a photo that they can't really make out. They keep calling it the Bigfoot photo because you can't really see who's in the picture.
Right.
And they take it to the acting class, and one of the actors is like, "Oh, you should enhance this." And the detective's like, "That's not a thing."
Not a thing.
He's like, "I was on CSI, and they had a picture like this, and then they enhanced it, and you could see who it was."
Right.
So, I get jealous when I watch shows like Barry. I'm like, God, that is so.
It's such a good idea.
Yeah. So what else, Amber?
Wait, I thought that also the thing about this 7 Spiritual Laws of Success book. Again, I got it in my 20s. And
Deepak Chopra.
Deepak Chopra. I'm sure I read it when I first got it. And
it's hard to really absorb those things.
Well, and I know me. And so I'm sure I was like, yeah, but I don't need to do that one. Or like, I could do that one in my head. And it's like the whole point is to not do it in your head because you think that you could do it in your head. And this just grounds it. You know, like I could
sorry, what just grounds it?
Well, like the point of these actionable items are
actually doing the things that it says. Yes.
Because like, yes, in your head, you could like think about what you desire. But it's about putting pen to paper and making it real and making it specific and all that.
Well, it's putting pen to paper involves literal physical action, and it involves your brain laws of physics. In Fast and the Furious, you can just write on a piece of paper by going like this, and it works because they have different laws of physics in there. But no, your brain processes information differently because you're taking it in from the book, you're thinking about it, you're putting it out, you're writing it down, and you're reading it as it's just a whole different way of as opposed to like, that's an interesting idea.
Well,
I'll think about that for a little
right.
while.
Well, I think that I agreed with all of the laws and principles the first time I read it, but I was just very much like, I kind of do that in my head already. Like next, very, I don't know, like C student or something.
Yeah. That's me. It's funny because I was just thinking about my washer and dryer this morning, which I have in unit. And I was like, I don't know why this occurred to me, but I was like, how did I do my laundry when I lived in New York? I did not have, and then I couldn't remember. I was like, I don't remember if I had a washer and dryer or not.
Blocked it out because it was so traumatic.
Well, I think what it was there was a laundromat right across the street, and and it wasn't even like I went and did my laundry there. It was not that kind of laundromat. It was like they would do your laundry and then you go and get it back and take it. But I did that for years there, and then of course there was the whole incident here where I had not drug dealer intern Alex, but not supermodel, another roommate before all that. And the washing machine started like smoking. And I was like, oh man.
Somebody stop me.
Turns out the washing machine was Jim Carrey the whole time. He's living in my house. He's a rubber face. Like he just looked like a washing machine. It was a character he never got to do on In Living Color.
A washing machine.
Yeah.
Just a regular washing machine.
But so I didn't know how to, and so he and I then decided we had to go out and do our laundry. And so there was a period of time here in Hollywood where I was going out and doing my laundry, and it's tough, Hollywood is a tough area to be in a laundromat doing your laundry. Yeah. Like you run into some people there that are, characters.
Well, and you dread it. And that's when you start doing like laundry math of like, okay, I could just like wear this one shirt.
How much can I get through? Yeah. And did I take my 2 desires out of my pocket?
I may have talked about this on the podcast already, but the washer and dryer arrived the day of the insurrection.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like, I am so I was so excited and like wanted to tell people, and then it was like, kind of put a damper on that.
Well, at least we know forever January 6th will be celebrated as the day you got your washer and dryer.
Oh man. I mean, we moved in January 1st. We wasted no time.
Yeah, you knew what you wanted and you got it right away. And by the way, I eventually was like, I have to get this washing machine fixed.
Sure.
Either to get rid of Jim Carrey and let him go back to his movie career, or so that we can start doing our laundry in here again. And so or
both.
Or both. So I went on Yelp and I found some repair person and called and was like, this is what's going on. And, and the guy was like, ooh, that does not sound good. Is it he was asking me all these questions. So he found out what kind of unit it was. This is all on the phone. And he was like, I feel like I've told this story before, but it's definitely worth telling again. It's got such a great ending.
I can't wait. But no way it'll be disappointing now.
I learned from Jamie a long time ago that if you want to set something like really raise expectations, and they will definitely be fulfilled. So he's like, oh man, it sounds like chances are that's going to be another $1,300 or $1,400. You're going to have to replace the unit. And I was like, okay, I guess we're going to be doing our laundry at the laundromat for a while. And then he said, let me just ask you to do one thing. Can you reach your hand in behind the loose bucket that's in there? Like, I don't know what they call it, but there's a thing that spins. And he goes, reach your hand in and see if there's anything behind there, because there may be something. And I reached in and I pulled out, and the guy who was living here, I don't know if he had baby feet or what, but he had a tiny little sock that he had been wearing that somehow, he had a doll sock and it had gotten in behind the thing. I was like, holy shit. And the guy was like, that's it. That's your problem. And
it was fine after that?
completely fine after that.
And so it was a free. You paid nothing.
Nothing. Zero.
Ugh.
$0.
That guy was like, "Damn it! I shouldn't have told him. I could have."
But he said he goes. This happens more than you would think, and it has especially. This was maybe 10 years ago, I guess. And he's like, it's been especially gotten worse over the last 10 or 15 years as more and more women have started wearing thongs on a regular basis. I guess generally speaking, when they have something stuck back there, it's a little piece of women's underwear. And he was like, it's good that your friend has tiny doll feet because, at least you're not pulling out women's underwear when you reach in there. I said, how did you know my friend has tiny doll feet? And it turned out the guy at the other end of the phone was Jim Carrey. He was doing an impression the whole time of a guy on Yelp.
Wow, he's good. Anyway.
But it was one of those things where you go through so much psychologically of
how much money this is
$1,400. I can't believe this. Yeah. And then just the doll sock.
The easiest thing.
Everything fixed. And it's worked fine ever since.
Great.
Not fine, but fine, so at least I don't have to drive, pack up my clothes and get in the car and drive off to a thing. And no offense to people who do that, but I'd rather not.
For a while there, when I lived kind of in your neighborhood and I didn't have a working car, I put my clothes in a wheelie suitcase and walked a half a mile to a laundromat every day. So you do it sparingly.
I'm assuming you walk down the hill.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if I walked up, where would I go? To the Coyotes?
That's true. You didn't go do it in the stream in Griffith Park?
But yeah, and also you can't just be like, oh, I have to do laundry real quick. Like that's like a day.
It's a full-on adventure. All right. What else, Amber?
For checking in?
Yeah, checking in.
I feel like I've checked in quite a
bit. You really have. You have. You checked in 100%. You're in. You're all the way in.
Thank you.
All right. Why don't we take a break for 2 minutes and then we'll be back with more of the show that we like to call What Other Impressions Was Jim Carrey Doing in My Apartment at Various Times?
That bicycle.
That's him. So good. It is funny when you go back and watch old videotapes, YouTube clips of Jim Carrey, just how, he physically transforms his face into like Clint Eastwood or like, it is insane.
He's crazy.
He's good. All right. We'll be back. Hey everybody, it's Sean, and what should we have everybody do this week? How about this? How about you find someone, after the show is over, you listen to the whole show, find someone you know and care about them, and tell them that you care about them. Let's do that. Wouldn't that be nice? For you to tell someone you care about that you care about them. I think they'd be really happy to hear that from you. Especially today, in a little while. Let us know how it goes. And now, back to our show. We are back. You are listening to The Long Shot, which these days is mostly about doing your laundry.
While destroying your dreams.
Having desires, yes. So it's time for a segment on the show that we like to call Parting Shots. And I guess I'll go first. We just changed our recording schedule to Thursday nights. We used to record on Saturday afternoons. Now
and that's must-see TV. We're missing Friends. We're missing Seinfeld.
Yes. What else are we missing? Friends, Seinfeld.
Mad About You. I don't know.
And the Honeymooners. But what that means is that, when we were recording on Saturdays, I had class all day. So I was just like focused on that. And then I took a break for a little while and then recorded. Now I'm like, okay, we're not recording until 7:00 because it's after work time. that means I can sit for an hour and watch various iterations of news programs and get very worked up ahead of time. Which I did a little bit tonight.
You seem pretty like.
Well, I was like, I got to watch basketball. I can't watch because I did watch the first 15 minutes of fucking that asshole's show. And it was just about how they're coming to vaccinate you. And that leads to the government taking over healthcare and your health decisions. And that leads to eugenics. That was Tucker Carlson's first 15 minutes, is that the next thing that happens is they're going to be forcing sterilizations on people. Which
they are doing, but not on white people. Like, that's a thing that's happening at the borders. But
right.
So like, we're doing it already. Yeah. It's just not the people that he's scared of.
As you might imagine, that did not come up.
Right.
But anyway, all of this, is just stuff that I get so worked up about. And I was thinking about how to, thinking about a lot of things, but how to use it in some way creatively, as opposed to just fuming about stuff. And I guess here's my question to you, and I don't know if you have an answer to this, is I'm sure you've seen, well, the best example is Sarah Cooper doing, it's actually not a good example, but the thing I'm talking about, where she did the lip syncing.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I've just heard people talk about it a lot.
There's also people who do like characters, and it's almost like a montage of various things that character would say.
Have you seen James Austin Johnson's Trump impressions?
No, I don't know who that is.
They're very, very good. I'll send you some links. It could be in your show notes if you make them.
We'll see what happens this week. But I was thinking about doing stuff like that. And I guess this is kind of an idiotic question, but it feels like this is why I never do things I should do, is because part of me is like, I have ideas for what I want to do and which characters I would want to do and who I would want to make fun of and how I would make fun of it. But is that just using somebody else's thing? And, people have already done that. So who cares? And I guess as I'm asking the question, it doesn't even totally make sense, because it's like, well, there's only one way to find out, is if you do it and people watch it or they don't watch it,
Right. And if you have something that you want to say, I feel like
it's funny because I'm always like, oh, am I copying something? It's not at all copying somebody else, because it's doing different content, different character, different whatever. It'd be like somebody saying, I want to make a movie, but other people have made movies, so I guess I shouldn't make a movie. Or like, I want to write a novel, but other people have written novels,
people
so I
have
guess
baked bread before.
yeah. So I guess it's an absurd question. So I guess the answer is in the question, the obstacle is the way.
This is going to sound braggy, but it is what it is, and there's no way to get out of this without that. But I have recently learned that sometimes I had the tendency to talk myself out of something because it seems so obvious. I'm like, ugh, it's so obvious. And so like at work, when there's brainstorm things, there's always the idea that I come up with first, but I again kind of poo-poo it because it's like, it's so obvious. Everyone probably thought of this. So I have to think of like 10 others so that I'm not just turning in the most obvious one. And then I turn them all in. And that one that I thought of first, 9 times out of 10 people are like, oh my God, that is great. Like, because it was obvious to me doesn't mean it was universally obvious. Right. But like, because it was obvious to me, I discount it. But that's silly.
So you're saying don't poo-poo what's obvious to you?
Yeah.
Should we put that in our iterations of poo-poo novel? Yeah.
Things that are obvious to you. Yeah. I'm sure we have others. But yeah, I'm saying this to you as someone who has never taken this advice, and I should. But like, because I do the same exact thing where I'm like, oh, I should make something. Like, why me? Like other people do stuff. Like,
Right.
But if you're drawn to it, I think that means that you should do it.
Right.
And it will be inherently different because it's your voice and your point of view.
Right.
But again, I've literally never taken that advice, so I'm a big hypocrite.
No, I get it. I mean, that's the best way to give advice is when you can tell other people how to do things that you've never done
No, I'm
yourself.
not telling you how to do anything.
Yeah.
No advice here. But
I feel like I do that a lot, though. I go, here's my advice, and I'm saying this because I have never done it myself, but I think it would have been good if I had,
Right.
I think that's okay because you're giving advice from a place of experience, not from a place of like, I have no idea what I'm talking about. And you're also not saying, here's what will happen,
Right.
Because who knows what will happen.
And what I'm saying, I think what we're both saying is like, here's advice that I should also be taking. Yeah. So it's not like I'm talking.
It's not like we're talking. Oh, I thought you wanted us both to say it.
No.
Oh,
please stop. But you know what I'm saying? Where it's like, here's advice that would be helpful for everyone, including myself.
Right. Yeah, I think that's valid too. Is like sometimes it's good to say things out loud to other people because it's something that should have an impact on you.
And you write it down or you put it in your pocket.
And then you throw your pocket in the laundry. By the way, I do my pockets once a week. I just wash my pockets.
Just the pocket.
Just take the pockets out of the pants and stuff and put them in the laundry.
Smart.
One time a pocket got stuck behind it was like a little doll pocket, got stuck behind the
Polly Pocket.
I knew there had to be a doll with a pocket. So here's the other thing I was thinking about. Like I said, I just feel very cut off from the world right now. Like I just don't know how to get back to things. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I went to the movies with my friend last night. I went to the movies with my friend last week, and that's great. They were both very fun, except for the part where we got trapped in an alley. But I don't feel like I'm interacting with the world on a regular basis. And this is going to be an amazing story. This is so funny.
Just wait till the ending. The twist. Like, wow, no. You'll never see it coming.
I made roasted, I think they were roasted, or they might have been whatever, Brussels sprouts this week. Just a bunch of them. And I had them in the fridge.
This is a Jamie checking it.
No. Because it's not about that. It's about what it led to. I made them and then I would like heat them up before I ate them because, they're in the fridge.
Right.
I have an air fryer.
Uh-oh.
So I put a bunch, like when the last of the Brussels sprouts was in the little container, I dumped it into the air fryer, cranked that baby up. I was like, they're going to be crispy. They're going to be delicious. Forgot about them. I had 2 other vegetables that night. Totally forgot about the Brussels sprouts. Today, I pulled the tray out of the air fryer.
That's not going to be a good smell.
No. It was fine. It didn't bother me at all. But they're basically wizened little dried out, And what that reminded me of was a long time ago when this is like 25 years ago. It was my first apartment in New York City. I had a Christmas party. And I had, obviously, you have beer and wine and all the sangria you can drink, But I also had like real food, like hors d'oeuvre, I made like pigs in a blanket and I made chicken wings. I made like buffalo wings. And about 2 weeks after the party, and so the party, it was a New York party. So it started at 10 o'clock and went until 5 a.m. or whatever.
You can get a slice of pizza anytime.
You can. But my point is at 5 a.m, I was like still going, but like not fully comprehending what I was doing, basically.
You had a lot of beer and wine and
sangria.
Spirits.
and chips. And
That's salt.
and like 2 weeks later, I opened the oven and there was a tray of chicken wings still in there. And they were like mummified, like they were so dried out because they had just been sitting in the oven that whole time. I had luckily turned the oven off at some point, but they just were, they were like skeletons, basically.
It's not even gross because there's
no, it wasn't gross at all. It was just completely dried out. But the point of all that was that talking about how I went to this party last week and left after 5 minutes. I used to have parties in my apartment all the time when I lived in New York. Like I had at least not all the time, but at least 2 or 3 times a year, I would have a big party where I lived. And those parties were always fun for me because I was the one who invited everybody. So I knew everybody before they even got there. It wasn't like, somebody might bring somebody, but at least I felt like I knew the majority or the preponderance or the
percentage of people that you knew, the cost. Right.
And it was just it was always really fun. And I did that a few times after I moved out here or moved over here, whatever preposition. Yeah. Moved through here. But I was thinking about it. I was like, I wonder if I should just start having a party on a regular basis out here just to
get people in your house and
reconnect with people somehow,
Well, and then you don't have to schedule 35 lunch dates or whatever. You can kind of do a bang for your buck.
Right.
And decide from there who you want to have a lunch date with. It's an audition.
I will do coffee with him. Lunch with her.
We'll see about breakfast.
I will wait at the bus stop with them. So I don't know. We'll see. But
yeah, I think that's a great idea.
It feels like a possibility, at least, because at least that'd be a way to see people, like you said, see a bunch of people at once, because even what you're talking about, scheduling lunches, like that is so fucking complicated out here. Where it's like, oh, sorry, I had another thing come up and I can't make it, or where are we going to meet, and blah, blah, blah. It's just always a fucking thing. So,
well, I told you that I met up with my old sketch team a few weeks ago, and everyone was like, that was the best. Oh my God, we have to do it again. Mm-hmm. We have to. We absolutely have to do it again. When are we going to do it again? And since then, we've been trying to come up with a date, and every date we throw out, someone's like,
can't make it.
I'm actually going to be out of town for 5 weeks.
Yeah, right.
Month, or so it's just okay, I don't know when this will ever happen.
Coordinating things is incredibly difficult, and so.
But everyone seems to want to. It's just...
But what I'm saying is, if I was to go, here's 300 people I'm inviting to this party,
right? You might get 10,
right? And that would be a real primo. We could play Not It, or whatever thing we wanted to do. So we'll see. I'm thinking about it. I'd have to clean this place up a little bit, but we'll see.
Make some chicken wings.
There are some in the oven. I could just take them out.
Still?
Just chicken wings and a bone saw, and we'd be good to go. All right, Amber, parting shots.
Yes. My parting shot, a non-traditional parting shot for a podcast.
Oh.
But I am going to promote another podcast.
Holy shit.
One that I am not on, that I have nothing to do with.
Perfect.
But there's a new podcast out called Toxic, the Britney Spears story.
Mm-hmm. What's it about?
It's about Britney Spears, and it is written, produced, well, maybe not produced, I don't know. Written, and the two hosts are Barbara Gray and Tess Barker, who are two of my best friends on this planet, and they I'm so fucking proud of them. It's really great. The first 2 episodes are out now. I guess maybe by the time this drops, the first 3 episodes will be out. But
when is this going to drop?
This episode? Wednesday.
Okay. Yeah, we drop on Wednesdays, right?
But it's great. I'm at a loss for words because I love it so much. It is like Serial. It's an investigative journalist piece that they really, really, truly put the work in. They have professional researchers. It's produced
So similar to our
so well.
podcast in a sense.
Oh yeah.
Professional researchers.
And all the editing we do to make it seem like this seamless banter, but takes hours upon hours.
Stop and go.
But yeah, it's looking into the conservatorship that Britney Spears is under and how she got there. And I know just because I know them, but I haven't heard these episodes, but it also sort of branches out into investigating the
Christina Aguilera.
No, like the darkness of conservatorships and the laws surrounding them in California in general, and how many people become victim to them. Mm-hmm. And it's great. They sort of started the Free Britney movement accidentally, and so it's one of these.
They were just shouting letters, and they accidentally spelled Free Britney.
No, they had you'll learn all of this on their podcast, Toxic, but
the Britney Spears story.
Yes, they started a podcast called Britney's Gram. It was a comedy, funny, lighthearted podcast where they would sort of dissect each of Britney Spears's Instagram posts.
Right.
And things sort of spiraled where they started like finding clues within those posts. And
yeah, wasn't there a thing where they like said if you're being held against your will, wear yellow, and then the next day she wore something yellow and posted on Instagram? And
I'm not exactly sure about that, but
it happened.
Then there weren't posts for months and months, and then it came out that Britney Spears was in a mental hospital, and one of the fans of Britney's Gram was like a source and was a paralegal on the team.
Yeah.
And that some of their guesses were right. Anyway, that's what got the ball rolling. And they're both really charming, really funny, but also like heart in the right place. Like they're not ambulance chasers. It's sort of like a story that came to them and they feel compelled to tell it and make sure the world knows it and do the right thing. And I could not be more proud of them, and you should check it out.
Very cool. I'm going to listen to it tonight. Maybe not all of it, but some of it.
It's just the 2 episodes. I think you could do it.
Yeah, but I try to be in bed by 10. So,
okay.
All right. So folks, when you listen, by the time you listen, if we drop on Wednesday, right? We're dropping on Wednesday.
Why are you focusing on this? Are you making fun of me saying drop? Is that what you're focusing on? A little bit,
yeah.
What am I supposed to say?
No, that's right. That's correct. It's just funny. If we drop on Wednesday, that means by the time you hear this, if you did not wish me a happy birthday the day before, I'm going to be furious. So
you'll drop what you're doing and beat you up.
Yeah. It's a word that means different things.
Do you have any big plans? That's a good excuse for a party.
That is a good excuse for a party. Maybe I should do that. I have to teach that night, so I can't do it that night, but
is it a Tuesday?
It's a Tuesday. Yeah.
It's tough.
Yeah. My birthday drops on Tuesday this year.
So. You can always have a party
Saturday.
Yeah. A few days later. They do that traditionally.
Yeah. When it's not, if your birthday's on a weeknight, it's fine to wait until the following weekend. And it's still a week and a half away. So maybe I can throw something together. We'll see. Maybe not.
We'll see what drops.
Yeah. I may drop a party on that Saturday. That works, right? Like you drop. Anyway. Do this. If you're listening right now, take a screenshot and tag us and put it up on Twitter. Take a screenshot of you. take a screenshot of whatever you're listening to the show on, whether it's your computer or your car or your
screenshot of your car.
I don't know what I mean.
Your phone, I get it.
Yeah. And then tag us in it and post it on Twitter or on Facebook or on Instagram. And we would love to see, just where people are listening to the show.
And that battery percentage. How
much battery? Yeah. When is their new battery going to drop? That's what we want to know.
What a great call to action, Sean. I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you.
That's actionable.
I stole it from another podcast. So, but still, it feels like something, I just want to see what people are. I'm also fascinated by who listens to what, where, because I know where I am when I listen to stuff, but who knows what other people are doing
and who will respond, obviously,
which is totally up for grabs. Like could be
Boo,
nothing. Yeah. Feel free not to respond, by the way. Feel free to have this idea in your head and then just drop it, let it drop. All right. This has been The Long Shot. Thank you guys so much for being here, for listening. We will see you next time, I guess, right?
I think so. Will we ever see those guys again?
Who the fuck knows? I don't even know if they're alive anymore.
Oh, I hope they are.
I do too.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.